Hey everybody, it's getting pretty close to being done. Still got another couple coats of paint to put on it, and got to do the sheath for the wiring harness, but that's what's going on. Main switch panels right there. Got one auxiliary wire for the overhead lights once I get it done. Wiring harness just going in there for right now. I still got to make a grommet and like I said, put a sheath on that and attach it to the floor neatly. Still got to get a longer oil pressure line. For right now, that's just where the gauge is mounted, and that is at least, mounted right there. So, heater core fans on. The wiring underneath here is done. Got everything turnkey ready pretty much well. Kill switch is right there, off and on. Okay, and like a lot of people comment and stuff like, well, why don't you just buy this, that's what you need, or why don't you just do this. I haven't bought anything for this yet. This is all stuff that I've had laying around, or I've made, or I've used what you got. The only thing I don't have that I really need is a smaller radiator. But that'll work for right now. But this is actually a broken piece off of a like on the Briggs Vanguard V-twins or the Kohlers, like you got your main plate that goes up against the carburetor, then you got that little piece that goes on there, and the blow-by valve hose, or PCV valve hose, comes through the back side of that breather and into that little piece that bolts on, and it's got like a little half cup deal that, freaking, usually they got a bolt sticking out of the end of it, and that's what your element goes on, then your plate, then your nut. But that's what that is. That's off of one of them that got broken, and I cut it in half and used it for the something to hold this cable with. Like all this wiring I use and stuff, that's extension cords that I've freaking cut up. All the hoses I've saved from the landfill. The radiator came from the landfill, fan, whole bunch of stuff I've saved. But back here it's pretty boring. Got a couple radiator hoses, got an air breather, and got a fuel filter, water separator deal. Radiator reservoir for the radiator. Up here everything's pretty much well done. Everything is fused directly off the battery with a 30 amp fuse. Ended up using the original gas tank and just made a hole in it for a return line. What else? Got alternator, running lights, heater core motor, fan motor, which is not currently hooked up because I don't think I'm going to need that big fan on that big radiator. And then that's my auxiliary lights. And right here I got glow plugs on and off. And then I got ignition for the starter pretty much. So that's start, which is turn it over, and then as soon as it starts you got to turn the key off, and then it's running. But that's a little it's a little feature I made so nobody can, you can do everything but start it. But that, and I didn't have a push button switch or a momentary switch, and I was worried about it getting bumped, like a switch being somewhere and somehow it gets bumped and it engages the starter. So I'd just rather turn it over till it fires off, start it, and then take the key out and throw in a dash. But anyway, it's coming right along. Like right now, trying to think, I'm sitting here thinking what all I got left to do to it. The only thing I got left to do to it, period, is put the two tail lights on there and wire them up. I think everything else is done. I think it's ready to go. Like, I'm kind of a dick. Like, I don't want to ride something until it's all the way freaking completely done, even paint. But I cut all this crap off on the front and straightened it back up. It's pretty straight. It's not 100% perfect. It's off like less than a 1/16 of an inch, but it's better, a lot better than it was. It was like at an angle. And this, none of this is attached really. I got to put a brace in that. Put a set of LED lights on there. What else did I do? Oh, I put a set of coilover shocks in the back to kind of help with the weight some. And they're still, everything's wanting to be maxed out, so I'm going to have to take the lift kit they used. Wow, I can't really see shit under here. Let me get a lighter. I'm going to have to take, they built the lift kit and the shocks are up farther. The shock lift kit is longer than the spring lift kit, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get about another inch out of this spring to where I got more travel on that, because right now I ain't got a lot of travel left. So it's going to be a hell of a rough ride, but yeah, I did put a set of coilover shocks on the back trying to help with the weight, and I mean it's still better than this. That's the old shocks. Huh, that don't look like it broke. It looks like it just came out. It did, the spot weld broke. Freaking cheap crap. But anyway, yeah, I mean, I could hook the negative cable up to the battery, fire it up and drive it right now. I just won't have tail lights. Like, I think everything is done except for the sheath and, you know, like a few cosmetic things left over to do and simple minor shit. Like, there's nothing really keeping me from driving it right now, I don't think. I think it's finally done. I mean, pretty close. But yeah, I gotta dig out some of that sheath stuff. I got a bunch of it over there and a bunch of it here, there, and yonder. I gotta coat them wires, and then some of these wires in here I'm gonna do, and then that set of wires, and excuse me, I got a lot to do yet. The damn throttle cable, the throttle setup on this, like the original throttle only wants to move like an inch, and I need more throw than that, so it ain't going but like barely quarter throttle. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's only going like quarter throttle. I mean, it's like going like that far, and it needs to go, you know, all the way wide open. So, which I guess is a good thing to start out with, because let's not go real fast and tear up the belt, because that is a different clutch than that belt was used to. So hopefully it's the same angles and everything. The belt wears okay, but you know, I ain't gonna like push it until it breaks in again, because it's not real clean. It's a little rusty. Got a little oil on it. I'm gonna have to clean it up with some sandpaper before I ride it. But so yeah, there's part 7, I guess. So, and the clearance issue I was worried about having with this is not a problem, because the bump stops, the rubber bump stops built into them coilover shocks I just put on there, will not let that go down far enough to hit the seat. Nor will it let it go down far enough to even get any of this injector lines close to this piece of metal. Which I was worried about that. It looks like it's really close, but it's because it's like an angle thing. The angle this is in there is like a swing arm. So it actually swings up and kind of forward when the suspension compresses. So that never hits anyway. The bottom of this might hit that screw right there, which might bend the whole line assembly down, but yeah, I don't think it's going to happen now. Like I said, with the new shocks, it physically freaking can't unless something in the suspension breaks. So anyway, that's all for now. I'll see you later, and take her easy.